Today's Gym Girl Chat is with someone who's not only a brilliant coach, but also one of the most intentional, no BS women I know, Coach Mia. She's been on the Physique Development team for years now, first as a client and now as a coach. And if you've heard one of our episodes together, you already know she brings the perfect blend of science, structure, and soul to every conversation. Mia has her bachelor's in exercise science, is HMCC certified, a functional nutrition and metabolism specialist, and holds credentials as both an ASM, exercise psychologist, and ACE CPT. She's the kind of coach who's not just about the macros and training blocks. She's all in on mindset, internal health, and helping clients align their actions with their identity. Her ideal client, someone ready to take a holistic approach, whether that's with gut or hormone health, thyroid dysfunction, or just learning how to actually trust themselves again. She's especially passionate about working with women who want more than just physical change. They want to reclaim how they see themselves. And while she's sharp as hell, she's also the girl you'll find dancing at a rave, traveling the world with a fantasy book in her carry-on, and encouraging you to stop playing small and go all in on the version of you say you want to be. Let's get into it. So welcome to the show, Coach frickin' Mia. We are going to go ahead and just dive right in. So what is something people assume about you because you lift that couldn't be further from the truth?
Ooh, oh my goodness. That I don't like food or that I don't like to eat. People are always like, oh my gosh, you can eat that when I'm eating like something that's just very normal, like a carb of some kind. And I'm like, oh yeah, I promise I can eat a lot.
Yes, I get that a lot of like when people find out I have like hash browns and bacon for breakfast, they're like, you're allowed to eat that? I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't, quote, allowed to eat some of these foods anyways.
Literally, I have pancakes for dinner like most weeks. So there's that.
Yes, we love some pancakes here. So what would you say is on your gym playlist right now?
Ooh, I've really been vibing with Subtronic's newest album. It's very good, as per usual with that, but then always Zed's Dead. Just that's never not going to be on the playlist. So those two would be the top currently.
Any songs that you've been PRing to or needing to put on when you just need that last extra push?
Lock In has been my go-to, which as the name implies, helps me really lock in. So we love to see it. And then I've been loving Grizz's stuff as well because we actually have just me and some of my friends have gotten tickets to the Grizz Comeback Festival of Seven Stars this fall. So I've been trying to pregame very early and get in the headspace there. So Grizz has been a good PR song go-to as of now.
Love it. I know we also recently did on a team meeting of talking about your walkout song if you were an athlete. So can you remind me what yours was?
Oh, that was Ecstasy of the Soul, Zed's Dead and Grizz, which, that would go right in line
right in line.
all of my things.
Perfect. So what would you say one of your favorite meals is right now, since we talked about just people thinking that you don't eat food? What would be some of your favorite meals right now?
Okay, so I'm going to get judged really hard for this. And I'm okay with it because I put myself on blast pretty much every single week on Instagram because I love this meal so much. But one of my favorites would be rice with sweet potato, banana, beef, peanut butter, cinnamon, and honey. That combination is just so good. Do not knock it till you try it. I know that sounds very like carnivore-esque. I promise it's not. We do love the banana, sweet potato, and rice combination with the honey in there. It's so good. And I'm just classic sweet and savory. Like I'm always going to go that direction. So love that.
I definitely would say people shouldn't knock putting some of those like peanut butter on like a savory meat, because I absolutely love when I'm able to put sweet potatoes, banana, chicken, and then some honey and peanut butter together and some cinnamon. And it is so freaking good. Add some coconut oil on there and we are set to go. But I also just want to say that it's so underrated, the combination of just sweet potato and rice together. I think people think you have to like choose one carb. And I'm like, first, no, I want to choose multiple carbs, but also just that combination together is so nice when it comes to the textures and how it just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just so freaking good though.
It just adds so much variety. And I actually just had that conversation with a client in a check-in of, she was like, I'm having trouble hitting my carbs. And I'm like, well, what are you using for your carbs? And she's like, well, potatoes or sweet potato. And I'm like, that's great. but add some like rice in with that. And one, it's going to be amazing for the texture and things of the sort there. But two, it's going to be a lot easier to eat. And it's not going to be something where it's like you feel like you're stuffing yourself to get in like all of those satiating carbs. It's like sometimes we need to blend those together just to like get to where we need to be with the meal in general. And so that's one of my favorite things to do is just combine carb sources and, have all the variety.
What are some of your favorite carb combinations outside of rice and sweet potato?
The rice and sweet potato is really good. Okay, fun one, cereal and popcorn, because I'm a huge popcorn girly.
Yes.
But when my carbs get super high, it's like sometimes popcorn, you can just overdo it on the fiber really, really easily if you're having like 50 grams of popcorn. And so combining it with cereal to like make it more like not voluminous, but like less voluminous. That's what I was looking for. Is going to be really, really helpful there. So that one's really, really good. I put Manuka honey on so many things. I love it so much. So that one is very, very good. But then potatoes and, I will do like a gluten-free pasta. I actually have this one pasta and again, gonna sound weird. But it's made with, green bananas. So that's fun. It literally just tastes like pasta. It's by the company Solely. I am like so far in their wheelhouse. Like I love them so much. So shout out Solely. But the green banana pasta, I'll combine that with potatoes, and then sometimes I'll combine that with just like regular like rice noodles. And then this isn't a carb combination. Well, actually no, because it's best with potatoes. But potato, rice noodle, and tahini is a amazing combination. There's something about the way that the tahini like goes with the potato flavor, and then like sort of coats the rice noodles. That's just phenomenal. So
I love how you do think out of the box without like, you're similar to me of like not everything has a recipe. Sometimes it's just mixing shit together and it's really fun to figure out what that stuff all together ends up tasting like and being able to get out of that box of whether it be like, oh, I need to stick with one carb or this is just the serving size. So I need to just go with the serving size. It's like these are also created as guidelines, but we get to also decide what that looks like. So I obviously love tortilla chips mixed with rice or anything tortilla chips added with my breakfast, I'll either have like sourdough bread with hash browns because again, I don't want to choose one or the other. And if I got all of my carbs from just hash browns, like it would be too much and it would leave me in a place where I wasn't as excited to eat them every single freaking day going into it. So I think that it's really good to just put combinations together, try things, and live a little bit outside of like what we deem as some of like the general rules when it comes to food, when we kind of get to create our own rules.
exactly. Yeah. And I feel like that's something that I have gained from just doing this for so long and like being in the fitness realm and going through so many different phases. And like my macros have been so different at different times. And like you get to experiment with things and realize like what you like. And one thing, another carb that I love, they'll go into this, but like I absolutely love this one kind of squash. It's very specific, a winter squash. It's called kabocha squash. I'm obsessed with it. And if I didn't get to have it when I was growing and eating over 400 carbs, because that's like, just kind of what I have to do for my body sometimes, that's something where like I would be very sad about that. And so the only way that I get to have that is if I also embrace the fact of like combining that with other carbohydrate sources. Like that can't be my exclusive carb source. And so it's something where like you learn what's important to you and you learn how to prioritize those certain foods. And that also helps you prioritize what's fun for you and like what tastes good together and all of those fun combinations. So yeah, I love it. There's literally no rules. You can do whatever you want with food. That's one of the wonderful things about being an adult is like you get to make those
You have
decisions.
free will.
So we love to see it.
Yes, we use our free will with our food very often. And just being able, I think a lot of times people might see some of the foods that I eat and be like, you eat that because it's healthy, or you eat that because that's going to like help you get to your goals. And while yes, of course, it's going to help me get to my goals to a certain degree, I don't really eat any food that I don't like. Like, yeah, sometimes you eat something that's not your absolute favorite because that's just life. But on a day-to-day basis, the foods that I eat them because I enjoy them, because I like them, because I want to eat them. And that's kind of like you said, within the squash or within anything that you eat, is I kind of look at it of like a tier list of like, what is the most important to me? What food makes me the most excited to be able to continue to eat that? So I've even made a video, and I'll have it linked down below, of talking about when your macros change, of how to go about food. And oftentimes people will start taking away some of their favorite things right away. And I'm like, no, I'll literally leave my favorites till the end. I'm going to take away all the other stuff that I don't want, as long as it's going to like, again, reach towards my goal and be able to set me up for that.
Yeah, exactly.
So while we're on the habit or on the conversation of food, what would you say are some of your favorite snacks right now?
So I usually whenever I snack, because I don't really like snack throughout the day, I just like have snacks as a meal, if that makes sense, in terms of like what I combine them for. So again, the popcorn cereal, like we're always on that train. I love my lesser evil Himalayan sweetness popcorn,
Mm-hmm.
always in my house. I will buy like 10 bags at a time when I find it because sometimes it's out of stock and I can't
Yes.
have that. It's absolutely not happening. So that and then Chex cereal of different varieties. The
Mm-hmm.
peanut butter Chex are my favorite, so I love those. Those are absolutely fire. These Alyssa's vegan bites, the vegan cookies, I haven't had them in a minute because they're a really good fiber source. Actually, they're made with, I believe, chicory root fiber and oatmeal, so they pack a punch when it comes to fiber, but they're phenomenal. So if you have them in stores near you, Alyssa's vegan bites are really good. I really really enjoy those. And then oh, the Drizzlicious mini rice cakes are
Mm.
so good. They
Oh, I
are
haven't
so
had
fire.
those in a
So they're like
minute.
coated in like this like drizzled sort of frosting thing, but they're like mini little rice cake poppers that you
Mm-hmm.
can just eat. I put them on my creamy sometimes, and that's really good. So I love those. And then I'm also just like a total fruit bat. So whatever fruit is in season, it's probably going to be in my fridge. I'm probably going to eat it. Apricot season is coming up. I'm going to absolutely abuse my apricot privileges very soon, and I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be very, very good. But that's pretty much what I've got going right now in terms of snacks. If you can't tell, I'm a big like sweet snacks person on that front. So usually I'll just like rotate through the flavors of the different things that I like am eating. So different cereals, different flavors of the rice cakes. In terms of Drizzlicious, I always, always, always have um, caramel rice cakes on hand. And then I
Mm-hmm.
guess the one like savory snack that I have on here that like you could consider a snack, but I usually have it as like a meal is plain rice cakes with avocado and Laughing Cow cheese. I have
Mm-hmm.
been eating that since my freshman year of college when I like first got into like bodybuilding, tracking macros, etc. That was my staple, and I still have it to this day all the time. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are you still having that fruit jerky or fruit leather?
that, yeah, I honestly haven't bought it in a while, but solely again, shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
They also make like fruit jerky and fruit snacks out of pure like just fruit. So it's usually like mango combined with something, but then they have like pineapple ones too, and other ones of that sort. The fruit snacks themselves, they have like mango and guava ones that are my favorite. And I probably ate, I'm gonna say like 10 or 11 packs of them on my trip to Peru when I was hiking
Oh
Machu
my
Picchu. Like
gosh.
those got me through Peru, and they are so so good and just great ingredients. So I would highly recommend those too.
And when it comes to Chex, I'm also a big rice Chex fan. So I know you said peanut butter is your favorite. What are some of your other flavors that you really love?
Ooh, the other top one is the strawberry vanilla. Anything strawberry
Mm.
flavored, I'm gonna grab it. Love it. So Valentine's is usually like my pumpkin spice season, if you will. And then cinnamon is another classic. I really like that one. Blueberry is really good. They used to have apple cinnamon and I loved that one and then
Ooh.
they took it away. They can't just like keep flavors and keep adding flavors. They got to replace them. So I'm really scared that they're going to take away my strawberry one, that they just gave us, but those are all really good. I do enjoy the chocolate one, but it's not like one that I reach for every now and then. And then I personally will like eat dry cereal, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't eat it with milk.
Yeah.
So if I'm eating it with milk, I love the honey nut ones, and those are super good. But sometimes they like hurt my mouth if I eat too many of them dry. So
Yes, I eat most cereal dry, but again, big rice Chex fan. I would say that the cinnamon or the honey nut are one of my top two from it, but the blueberry is so good. Actually, the way I use the blueberry the most is I will crush it up and use it to crust French toast and then have like blueberries on top. And I don't, it's so freaking good. I don't even know how to describe it, but the blueberry just hits the point for that for the French toast. But I will say I was very disappointed. I haven't tried the strawberry, which I'll have to get from the store, but I had the maple brown sugar and I thought it was going to be leaning more towards brown sugar. No, it leans completely towards maple and I just can't even do it.
if I'm honest, I think that they just rebranded the honey nut and they like put maple extract in there. Like it's
Yeah,
just not.
but it's
It was
not
just
even
disappointing.
close
I
to
was
the
like,
honey
why didn't you
nut.
do like cinnamon brown sugar sort of a vibe? Like I feel like that would have been more good.
They literally sat in our cabinet for so long before it was like right at the edge where I was like, we need to get through these because I'm not wasting it. But I was so excited because they looked like the honey nut. And I was like, oh my gosh, if they're brown sugar, but like the honey nut, like we are set. But they were just so overwhelmingly maple. I couldn't even like get past it. And I'm not like, I don't hate maple, but I didn't realize I didn't like it as much as I thought I did because I was like, oh, maple's going to be good. And I was just like, this is too much.
I was expecting like the like oatmeal that you would have as like a kid where it was
Yeah.
like maple brown sugar and like that just it wasn't giving
It
that
didn't
and like
hit.
that was really sad.
Yeah. What would you say within your life right now, within like fitness or just your habit and routine, or some of your favorite habits or routines that you're doing right now?
Always my morning routine. I am someone who is huge on a morning and an evening routine, and like mine are not extensive. I know that a video just went viral of like this guy doing this insane morning routine and hilarious, honestly, but like that's not what I'm talking about. It's just something where it gives me that little bit of distance from my day. So personally, I will journal and read in the morning and the evening routine. So I will like write a very short journal entry, and usually it's not something where I'm like getting into my like deep subconscious thoughts in this. I'm purely just like in the morning, I'll write some affirmations. In the evening, I'll write a quote from my book that I read that day that's like that I enjoyed or I thought was cool. And literally, it's so unserious in terms of the quote. It's not, again, not something that has to be deep. Like I read about dragons. It's something that's really dumb most of the time. But it is something where, you know, getting into that space and taking some time away from my day in general prior to like putting my head on the pillow and going to sleep, and then prior to like waking up and getting into the workday allows me to just like have some time to kind of regulate a little bit and get in touch with myself. So I love that. And then reading in general has just been great to just kind of like take a back step and like really focus on my stress relief, because I am someone who like if I have other stress relief tactics where I get distracted by things, like
Yes.
it's very easy for me to jump into work or jump into like notifications on my phone or something of the sort. And if I just turn my phone off and like open my Kindle and I'm just like, you are reading for an hour, that's something that's really, really helpful. And then I can also do it while I'm doing steps. So it helps me get my steps in, which is another favorite habit because truly I've never felt better than when I hit my step goal and I like have that going for myself. And then the final one I would say is just making sure that I have everything like cleaned up the night prior, like when I wake up in the morning. Not something that I used to do. I used to just be like, oh, like I'll have like a cleaning day on Sunday. And like that just got to a place where I was like constantly bothered by like the grimy counter or like, you know, something that was like left over from my meal prep or like whatever. And so it's been really helpful to like, as I'm making my last meal, I'm cleaning the kitchen. I'm making sure everything's wiped down. I make sure my meals are all in the fridge for tomorrow. Like I'm all set to go. And then I can go to sleep knowing that like I did everything that I needed to do to set myself up for success for the next day.
Yeah. And I love that you talked about habit stacking specifically, like getting your steps in while you're reading. I know you also do audiobooks, so you'll be doing chores and being able to get things cleaned up while you're listening. And that's a big time hack that I use of there's a lot of things I don't always want to do, but if I can do it while I'm doing something I enjoy, like reading or watching a TV show or listening to a podcast, then it makes it so much easier. Like the other day I was like, oh, I have so many steps left. And I was like, wait, but I get to read during it. And it just made me so happy. And I know you also do that when you go and you do like the compression sleeves or you're taking some time in the sauna. And so it's like kind of bribing yourself to go and do these things to be able to help out your health overall.
Yeah. And I've been really, really doing that the past couple of weeks. I'm towards the end of pushing for some growth right now in terms of bodybuilding stuff. And so my recovery is like top, and it's always important, but like right now it's extremely, extremely important. And so just being in a spot where it's like, hey, like these extra techniques that you're doing for these purposes are really going to pay off. Like being able to kind of bait myself into that with you get to read. Like I know it's a pain in the butt to like drive to the gym on your rest day. You would rather just sit at home and like not do that, but you can go there, you can read, it's going to feel good. You're going to feel great afterward. And that's just, it's a wonderful thing to do. So I love the habit stacking.
Low reps is best.
High reps is best.
Fruit is so
It's
good.
terrible for you.
You should lift heavy.
High reps,
Carbs
low
are
weight.
needed.
Keto
Squats
for
are
life.
bad for your
Squats
knees.
are great
You
for
should
your knees.
squat ass to
Knees over
grass.
toes.
It's fine. It fits my
Macros
macros.
is for idiots.
When there are so many mixed messages going around, it's hard to know what you should even do or focus on. But that's exactly where Physique Development one-on-one coaching comes in. You might have heard of online coaching or even hired a coach before, but we believe in teaching you the why behind what we do while truly taking your life into consideration. We want to train, educate, and empower you to reach your goals and help you to stop spinning your wheels and just finally feel good. And hey, we're here to help you look good too. You need you. Your health is your wealth. So join Physique Development and let us be the last coach you ever need. Yes, and we will get back to fitness here in a second, but I am going to veer off for reading because I just personally want to talk about reading. And so now I need to know how far into Duskbound you are because I need to talk about it with you.
I was gonna text you after this actually. I read a chapter right before we hopped on,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm at 45%.
Uh,
So I'm
I
really
got to
excited.
I got to 70% while I was doing my hair because I got
Okay,
that stand and I forgot that I was doing my hair today. So I originally told you like I wasn't going to have time to read. And then I was literally had the stand and I was just doing my hair reading. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so far and I need to talk to Mia about this. But I also told her I wasn't going to be able to read.
this is such like a pot kettle moment because I do this too, where like Sue and I will both be like, I don't have time to read, and then the next day we'll be like, so I finished the book. Where are you at? Like it's just every single time. So genuinely, Monday is like my busiest day on that front. So I'm hopeful that after training today, I'll be able to get to probably like 55%. And then tomorrow morning, maybe I'll be able to like push up to like where you are at least, or maybe even finish it. I don't know. It depends on like how much I get done today. But with that, it's really good so far. I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying it. So
It
that's
just
fun.
gets better. And I know I already texted you this, but it is giving me such vibes of Fourth Wing, but better.
Yeah.
And then with
Yeah.
like that Face Spy Academy book, like that, but
Mhm.
better. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds of both of those books. And it's just, it's doing so well. And especially for the fact that it's going to be a trilogy, I just am so excited to finish like the last 30%, see where it ends up, and then be able to get to the third book, which I did look it up and it said that it was spring of 2025, but then that would be like soon. But then if it was spring of 2025, you would already have a release date, you would think. And so now I'm like, is that not the case?
I don't know, because like I looked on Goodreads before we were like, oh, let's jump into this one because I was like, I don't think that there's one coming out soon. I mean, like, I wouldn't be mad if there was. I definitely would love
I
to.
have a feeling like this is going to end on like a spot that I don't want it to.
I think it probably will, but you know, we've signed up for it at this point.
Yes.
I'm too far invested. We can't turn back now.
What is the book that you are most excited to read? Not talking about books you have read, because I already know the answer to that this year,
Oh yeah,
but the book that you on your TBR that you're most excited to read this year that we haven't yet.
probably the second in Quicksilver, and then can I say the entire like Lady of Darkness legacy like
No,
universe?
you can say that because I would say that
Yeah,
too.
that because like I can't just say one book in that. Like I'm just excited to jump into that world and like
Hmm.
absorb all of that because
Yes.
everything I've heard about it is just like right up my alley and I'm just so excited about it.
Hmm.
And then Quicksilver was just one of my favorite reads of last year. And so I'm excited to see where we go from where it ended off. And then I'm also excited to listen to the audiobook while you read it because the audiobook is great.
I'm very excited to read it and finally get into it. And I would say you left one book off, the third book in the Otation Chronicles.
Oh yeah. Well, that I see. I keep forgetting that's coming out this year. We got so lucky that
Yes.
that's coming out this year.
Especially because
And I
both
just
of the
keep
other
forgetting.
ones came out just last year. That
Yeah, wait,
literally was
exactly.
like
So like I
July
keep being
and
like, oh, there's no
November.
way that it's coming out this year. And then it is because she's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my like at this very moment, that is my number one anticipated read is the
Hmm.
next book in the Annotation Chronicles. I believe that's how you say that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm still reeling from the first two books. Like
Yes.
yeah,
I,
anyone who has not read Lies of Lena or Sins of Silas, if
you
you check
need
the trigger
to.
warnings and you're cool with it, please read them. They
Hmm.
will change your life.
I
I am sitting
honestly,
here and I just,
what triggers are on? Maybe it's because, and that's the
well,
thing of I need to
see, I feel
realize.
like I need to say that with like every kind of like semi-dark fantasy book,
Yes.
but like,
But I think
yeah,
that's the funny thing is at this point, someone was saying a book that was like considered dark romance. And I was like,
yeah.
the dark, how? And I'm like, oh, I've just read all the way to the end of like the craziness of dark romance. And so now just books that have like dark themes, I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, that happens.
This is like, I keep saying like everyone check the trigger warnings because like I see book talkers who are like everyone checks it, but like whatever. But you're so right because like the books that like we've gone past that. Like
Yeah. Like Court
we've
of
crossed the
Ravens,
line
I
to
would
a
of
point.
course tell people to check the trigger warnings. But
Yeah, I know. I'm just so unfazed by anything that could potentially happen in a book
uh-huh.
at this point that I just been,
You
it's
know,
just,
I'm
it is
just
what it is.
and that's the thing of like at this point, I don't always check the trigger warnings because I'm like, oh, I've literally been to the end of it, so like nothing can
Yeah.
surprise me. But then you know, like a scene is happening, and you're like, is it about to go this way? But then it's like, if I would have read the trigger warnings, I would have known. But then it also kind of takes away the element of surprise, where I know again. If it's going to bother you, you got to do what's good for you. But sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know if this is going to happen. So it could go that route or it could go a completely different route.
I think we've both reached the point of doesn't read trigger warnings to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
And that's okay for some people. Know
Yes.
yourself, but
Know
we know
yourself.
ourselves, and that's just where we stand.
Yes. And we are both absolutely feral book readers. And so that's something
Definitely.
where I've been on Goodreads recently and I love like seeing what people are reading and everything. And I saw like 3 or 4 people either add Lies of Lena or like start Lies of Lena. And I've just been like fist bumping the air, being like, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited for you. And then one girl messaged me and she was like, I don't know what's wrong with my Goodreads. I was like, well, the interface sucks. That's what's wrong with it. But there's not really another great option right now. But she was like, I saw your review for Lies of Lena. I pushed everything else back on my TBR and I started it. And I was like, you've made the right decision, honestly.
You have. You honestly. Yeah. Every time I see you liking someone's status of like, oh, reading Lies of Lena, like review Lies of whatever, I'm like, I need to be your friend immediately.
Yeah.
Because if you are reading this, I need to be in on like all of your reactions on Goodreads, because just seeing people read that series and like vicariously living through it again,
Yes.
it makes me so happy.
It makes me so happy. And what has made me so freaking happy is through Plated Prisoner, because that one post kind of went like a little bit crazy on BookTok, that people are coming back and being like, oh, I've read it and this is now how I feel about it. Or I was someone who DNF'd and you convinced me to read it and now I'm on Goldfinch and I'm trying to slow play it. And I'm just like, you have no idea the high that gives me when like first you read a book that I recommend, but then for you to come back and tell me about it, I'm just like, this is it. Like, this is what I've been searching for.
Yeah, I forever have gratitude for you for getting me back into that series, because I wouldn't have read it if you and Kate hadn't been like, you need to read this. And I am very excited that I did, because it was so good.
I was cautious of even recommending it because I wanted to get deeper into it before I said something, because I was like, what if it just ends up being a flop and then I'm wasting Mia's time? And she's like, guys, I actually hate your recommendation. But I think that I know your reading taste well enough to tell you like what you should and shouldn't read at this point, and vice versa. So that always works. Cause like within Fearless, like with everyone like going crazy about it right now, I'm like, I know that Mia said it was fine and like she's reading it, but like it's kind of like those videos I've said of like the add to your TBR versus move up your TBR. And I'm like, she'd probably be like, it's fine to read, but like definitely don't put it above anything else that we've already discussed.
Yeah. And I know your reading taste enough to know that like you would probably like get through it and be like, this was fine, but it's not something that's going to like change your life, if that makes sense. And also, again, knowing our taste, like it is a YA novel. And so it's something where it's just like, it just feels a little.
I want to be on the opposite end of YA if I haven't.
Like I feel like I'm very on the opposite end of it. Like if I hadn't already invested in the first 2 books, like very early on in my reading like career, if we want to call it that,
yes.
I probably wouldn't have read it. But I was just like, I've already read the first 2 books. It's literally a trilogy. Like I don't have anything else to do right now, because I was just waiting for you and Sue to read, or for you and Kate to read Enchantra. And so I was like, all right, I'll bang it out until Enchantra is up on the TBR, and then, do whatever. But it was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't anything super special to me.
Yeah, it's crazy because like sometimes people consider Throne of Glass YA, and I'm just like, the writing style doesn't read YA like at all. Like the YA books that I've read feel YA.
TikTok, thank you on this. Don't quote me on this, because there's just someone in my TikTok comments, because I mentioned that. And they said that only the like books 1 through 3, I believe, were considered YA or something of the sort. And it was just to like be able to sell it more or something of the sort. Like it was a sales tactic more so than it was like actual YA. And like the last few novels aren't, because it's definitely not something where I would be like, I'm probably not recommending Throne of Glass to, someone in middle or high school.
No.
At all. So there's that. And the writing style, you're right. Like the writing style is what makes it for me. Like I am so open to a YA novel in terms of like the content, but if it comes to like the writing style and it's written as if it is for a younger audience, when I can pick up on that, that's when I feel like I don't love it so much.
Yes, we are very much on the same page there. And again, I feel like we're both at the place of like, let's get to the point where it's so far away from YA that people are honestly disgusted with some of the books. That one girl's comment about DNFing The Court of Ravens, and I was just giggling to myself of like, I mean, if you read the trigger warnings.
Honestly, one of my favorite things to do is read like the 1-2 star reviews on Court of Ravens. It's so funny.
Hmm.
Just because one, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into if you're there,
Hmm.
if you read the first chapter in the trigger warnings, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes.
Like you get there. Um, but yeah, that set me for a loop. I was like, yeah, girl, sometimes we got to read a little
We
bit
got to
deeper before
learn
we actually read the
ourselves.
entire book.
Yes. Well, I honestly love going and seeing 1 and 2 star reviews for any of my favorite books because it
Oh
also
yeah.
reminds me. So, like, I'm someone who likes to go into books like super blind. Like, I don't even like reading the back cover sometimes because I feel like it gives away too much. I'm just like, I'm going in. And if you tell me, either if someone tells me I'm going to like it, like someone who knows my reading taste, or they give me enough of like, hey, it has dragons and it has yearning, I'm like, okay, I'll read the book. Like, that wasn't hard at all. And so I'm like going in being like, there's these two things, but I don't know anything else that's happening. And so I do like going in with that blindness, but I also like on Goodreads, like I don't read the blurb because that's the back blurb. And then like the comments sometimes are just people, like the reviews are just people who I have to realize have completely different reading tastes than me. So I don't even take the star rating into consideration, like from other people overall. It's more of like if I see someone that I know their reading style and how that matches with mine. But it's honestly hilarious because I've gone through like some of my all time favorite books and read like the 1 and 2 star reviews. And I'm just like, you just didn't get it. Like, you didn't get it.
Yeah, this went over your head. Like you just were not. We are not on the same wavelength here at
Yes.
all.
So if you guys are all listening to this and you're like, what are they even talking about? Then don't concern yourself if you don't understand. But if you do want to be part of our book journey, we are both on Goodreads and I will put our links down below. And then we're both over on TikTok being book talkers. So I will put those links below as well so you guys can see all of our unhinged reactions to books.
We have many, so yeah.
Yes. So my last question about books, while we do go back to the rest of fitness stuff, what would be the thing that you have learned from fantasy books?
Ooh, quite honestly, just stepping into my own power, really. Because I had a journey with personal development books before I got into fantasy. And I honestly thought that I didn't enjoy reading because I just would like open up these books and like one, it was just very dense because it was just a lot of information like thrown at you. But two, like I would leave these books feeling really bad about myself because I'm like, I feel like I'm not doing all of these things that these books are telling me to do, like this, that, and the other. And it was incredibly empowering to see, and I know that this is like fantasy books, but characters written as like real people with real trauma, with real like things that they've gone through, overcoming that and like becoming so powerful, whether it be from like actual magical powers, whether it be from just like embracing their ability to like fight in battles or like anything of the sort there, and just really diving into that and seeing that journey as a whole through these series was super empowering for me to be like, oh, like, you are able to grow through what you go through. You're able to step up to a challenge when you're posed with it. Like you're destined for more of that kind of a vibe there. And so that's my favorite thing about reading fantasy books is just seeing that embodied and being able to embody it myself.
Yes, and it sets the standard for what you should accept when it comes to men in your life.
Oh, absolutely. We talk about that one all the time too. There's so much that I've learned from fantasy books that I can go on a tangent on, but that's a huge one is to be transparent, I have extremely high standards purely because of fantasy books, because I'm like, every man in here who was written by a woman is better than any man who I've interacted with on a date in the past year, year and a half, 2 years, etc. And I just don't feel the need to accept anything less into my life because my life is pretty great. And
Hmm.
you got to add Rowan or Rice. Of course, I'm going to say that
Come
now.
on.
Rowan or
People
Reese
are going to know
level.
you're not even a fantasy girly.
No, I know. But like Rowan or Reese level additive to my life if you're going to make it better.
Yes, I 100% agree. You should not settle until you find that man written by a woman. And it's something where I was talking to Alex about it because he was like, what's all this talk about book boyfriends? And like he saw the ranking thing that I posted. And I was like, well, honestly, if we are looking at this, the thing that I like the most about all of these guys, the thing that is like the traits that are the most common is that they are absolutely obsessed with the girl. They literally worship the ground she walks on. She is great. That's how you view me. So like, I love seeing that of like just someone absolutely obsessed. I was like, that's one big part. And I was like, the other part is like, a lot of them are partnerships of like, it's okay that the woman is powerful, where like, again, normal society is going to try and make you feel like, okay, the woman's place is in this and that you should just kind of be like that. And I'm like, and you empower me every day to like be me and to like be an equal with you. So I'm like, the traits are all there that coincide with you, hence why you are the book husband. But these are just boyfriends that I will read about and be able to learn more about them.
Exactly. Yeah. They just highlight what we value.
Yes. Now, you don't have magical powers, but if we could at least talk via our minds, that would be enough for me. I don't need the powers, but I need to be able to telepathically speak to you. That would be the one benefit I would really need here.
The mind speak with a spouse, honestly, would be such a flex. That would be so great.
It would be so nice, honestly.
Are you sick and tired of your glutes not growing? Turning around in the mirror and seeing a board for a booty? I've been coaching for nearly a decade, helping thousands of women reach their goals. The most common goal? Grow my glutes. Women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s able to grow their glutes with the guidance of my training programs. And for all this time, I've kept my best glute growth secrets only for my one-on-one clients. And that changes today. We just released our 12-week glute growth program in the PD training app. It is a 4-day program with exercise and volume adjustments every 3 weeks. You can easily access the program through our app and track every single workout. Each exercise will have a detailed video teaching you exactly how to perform each and every movement. And guess what? I am no longer gatekeeping. I'm sharing every single one of my best glute growth secrets inside this program because you are awesome and I want you to have this program. I'm going to give you $25 off, making it a fraction of what you spent at Starbucks this past month. Use code POD. The link to purchase will be in the description. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on from books, even though I know you and I could just sit and yap about them continuously. But
we could have a whole podcast about books.
We really could. That is why we are trying to become book talkers, because if we're going to spend this much time reading, we might as well monetize from us. So go support us over on TikTok. This whole podcast is just about supporting us on TikTok. I'm sorry. But going into a post or some posts that you've been doing of things you can't convince me as a gym girl, I absolutely love to see those. And I specifically wanted to talk about the wearing pants while training, because I relate to that so hard. I don't know. I kind of do know when the switch was of I used to feel so uncomfortable in my body. And so I never wanted to wear shorts to the gym. But once I hit that mark where I felt good enough to wear shorts to the gym, whether they're loose shorts or tight shorts, whatever it may be, like I have never gone back. And like, I don't remember the last time I wore a pair of like leggings. Like I'll wear like the flare leggings, like out and about, but like actual leggings, even on a day-to-day basis, I do not recall the last time that I wore them.
I am in the exact same boat. I will wear the flare leggings from time to time. I love my like little hippie girly outfits, and things of the sort when I'm like going to festivals and stuff. But like I would wear leggings from time to time on an upper body day when I was in college, and I went to college in northern Wisconsin. So that was the only time where I was like, it is freezing cold outside. I'm going to try this. And even then I remember being like viscerally uncomfortable. Like I couldn't do it. But yeah, I am just not someone who likes to have any sort of restrictive clothing. The most restrictive clothing that I will have is a sports bra and shorts when I'm training. And that's pretty much the only exception. Other than that, it's just something that I don't care to deal with. Like, I feel like I'm literally going to burst into flames if I'm wearing pants. So,
and I'm honestly the same way of like long sleeves and stuff. Like, I just have a really hard time with layers when I'm training. Like, I can wear a sweatshirt for like a few warm-up sets, and then I'm like, it has to come off. Like, it either needs to be a loose shirt and like a pair of shorts, but like, it can't be all of these extra layers on. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm dying right now.
I'm so simplicity over anything. Like, I just don't like things that are like skin tight to me on like my limbs mainly. It's just like not my favorite. And especially when I'm training, like I need to be able to move, and like I get so warm when I'm in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have every advantage I can to not overheat would be the main thing there.
Yes. If you want to hear some more of Mia's opinions, then you should go check out her Instagram, where she talks about things that you can't convince her of as a gym girl. And I'll go ahead and put one in there that I know is controversial, but cottage cheese. And I agree. Cottage cheese, the texture really freaks me out. But there's a lot of other fun ones there that you can debate with Mia in the comments on. But speaking of the gym, what would you say your favorite exercise or movement is right now?
I mean, cross cable laterals are always my favorite. Like, I love a good cable lateral raise.
Mm-hmm.
They hit so well when it comes to delts. And then for a lower body movement, I've really been vibing with the Glute Max press back right now. Those have been really awesome. And then I have them supersetted currently with a step up, and that superset has been killer, like really killer. I've been loving that.
I do hate a unilateral superset though.
Oh,
That always
it's
kills
terrible,
me.
but when I'm done, I'm like, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why it's nice to have someone else program for you so you don't just do the things that you want to do. Cause that's why otherwise I would like never do hip thrust or never do things unilaterally. I would just feel like, this is easier to do it this way. I'm a lazy gym girl when I can be.
Yeah, I never want to do hip thrusts, but they happen. So.
Yes, at least the Smith machine exists because I do not remember the last time I loaded a bar to pull it over to do a hip thrust.
I won't load a bar for a hip thrust. That's just one thing I don't.
I honestly won't load a bar, period. Loading a bar is so just not it for me. What would you say your biggest gym ick right now is?
Okay, this one is weird. There has been this one guy at my gym who just uses the dual cables and like just uses them for like 45 minutes at a time. And like I agree we should be able to take our time. Like I have long rest periods sometimes. I totally get it. But there was a good like month and a half long period where the other dual cable, we have two at my gym, but like the other one was broken and he was using both sides of it. But to do like an exercise that definitely could have been done at one cable for like 50 minutes in a row. So that was probably my biggest gimmick as of recently. But I have quite a few as of switching to a commercial gym from a bodybuilding gym when I moved at the beginning of this year. So I'm like, I never like say anything. I'm always keeping to myself, but it's been an adjustment period to get into a commercial gym and be like, is that normal? Or is this just something that just happens here? Like,
yeah, I know. That's what we honestly, when Alex and I were talking about like gym icks or like gym etiquette, one of the main things was when somebody is like hogging a piece of equipment and being so like unaware of the fact that like other people are using the gym. Like if someone can work in, great. If you have to use it for something, great. But like if you're just chilling there and you don't even realize that like this gym is for everyone is paying for it, then it's like, let's get a move on for sure.
Yeah.
What is a mindset shift that you've had in the last year that you feel has really stuck?
That things get to be good. That's one that like I have struggled with historically throughout my entire life is like things will be going really, really well, or like something good will happen and I'll like wait for the other shoe to drop, or I'll look for something where I'm like, okay, this is good, but like here's something that we need to improve, or here's something that needs to be better, or here's where I need to do better, or this, that, and the other thing. Like nothing's ever good enough. And being able to like have a win or get to a next level, whether it be with work or with training or with, you know, anything at all, or like my move to Colorado recently or anything of the sort, just fit in that and be like, this is allowed to be good. Like you are allowed to be happy. You don't have to be waiting for something bad to happen. You don't have to be waiting and like thinking that you should be doing more or you should be working harder or this, that, and the other thing. Like be happy with like where you are currently, because it gets to be good sometimes and you get to like sit in that. And I just have loved that mindset shift recently.
I love it so much. Lucky girl syndrome, honestly. I know we've talked about manifesting in past episodes, but I do just think, and there's obviously research that backs this up, of like how you think of things in your mind is so powerful. And it's even a lot of shown that if you think negatively about yourself, and let's say someone does an action that reinforces that, then you automatically start to think that they think the same negative thoughts that you're constantly thinking, and you're reinforcing your own negative thoughts constantly of what you think is possible. And even to the fact of like people pleasing, if you constantly are putting everyone's needs above your own, you're literally telling your brain that like your needs are not as important. And there's so much psychology that goes into that, of like how your brain and your thoughts are so powerful. And so it's always I was thinking the other day, especially when I was doing like scripting for the quiet shift, of that there's, what's the best way to phrase this? I feel like in life, I'm most scared of the what if, and not in the what if of like, what if this goes wrong or what if this happens? It's more of like, what if I don't reach my potential? And not in a way where I'm like constantly scared by it. And it's like, I'm so afraid of like every step I take. And what if I don't completely fulfill like this prophecy or this potential that I have? But it's more of like this underlying like feeling to myself of like, I am capable of so much. And if I were to end my life right now, not like personally in my life, but if my life were to end right now, then like, would I feel like I put into it, like what I truly wanted out of it? And that's the thing of like every time, and obviously we talked about this, we'll go back to books for a second with Lies of Lena, of like one really cool thing within the magic system of like, when you go through things, you can develop new powers. And I truthfully feel like of like what you go through, you grow through, and the harder things do make you better. And even within the series that we're reading right now, the female main character was talking about how hard it was to be like pulled out of her comfort zone and to be like pushed to do these things she felt like she didn't want to do. But then she reflected back on it and she was like, oh, every time that happened, it made me better. And so I feel like I'm constantly in that, not that I'm seeking out hard things all of the time or like waiting for things to get bad for me to grow through it. But it's just the aspect of like, what if things do all work out? What if I am able to accomplish this thing, but I'm holding myself back and having the self-sabotage by these thoughts and these statements that I'm placing on myself that don't need to be there. So I love that yours is like, it gets to be good, because it's so powerful to just bring that positivity, that abundance into your life, because like it truthfully can change everything. It's not just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So what would you say, how does fitness support the rest of your life within work, relationships, confidence? How does fitness be able to pour into those things?
For me, it honestly acts as the foundation for everything, because of the fact that, and I'm not saying that like everything revolves around fitness. I'm just saying that it really allows me to show up for myself so that I can show up for other areas of my life. Because fitness has always been the one thing where I, feel as though I am able to completely dedicate fully to myself. So if I am able to frame something in, this is going to benefit you within your training. This is going to benefit you within, your goals within bodybuilding, this, that, and the other. I am more likely to show up for it than if it were just something that like, oh, you should do this because it's good for you, this, that, and the other, right? And so it's this kind of thing where I can like bait myself into it of like, this is a huge part of my life and my existence that like if I am fulfilling the promises that I made to myself within this area, I'm likely going to show up really well for other areas of my life. And I also find that, when I have something that has structure within my life, just with how my brain works with certain levels of neurodivergence, like I need structures in place to be able to show up for myself. And I know for a fact that, I have gone through time periods of my life early on when I didn't know anything about my own brain, where it was just something where I was just like, oh, like, I need to do this assignment. I need to do this. Like, I need to get this done. I need to go to work, like this, that, and the other thing. And I would just forget to eat all day. And like, that just like wasn't something that ever occurred to me. And I was just like, oh, like I just like didn't eat today, or I, barely moved from the couch, or this, that, or the other. And I didn't feel good at all. And so having these things that hold me accountable in terms of like, I have my step goal to hit. I have to hit my macros, like this, that, and the other. Like, it really helps me just be a healthier human in general, but also be a mentally healthier human in general. And also kind of base my schedule off of things. Because if I know like, okay, I have to make it to the gym at this time, I have to eat my pre-workout meal at this time in order for that to happen, and then I'll eat my post-workout meal at this time, I can kind of fit in there of like, all right, so that means you have to get up at this time to have check-ins done by here. And then you need to get home from the gym and be done eating by this time so that you can work on content until this time, and like have all of that laid out for myself. So having kind of that way to like insert those assignments of like, these are the things that need to get done at these times, like allows me to kind of break up my day into things that, help my overwhelming structure of life in general. So yeah, it helps everything, honestly.
And what I hear most from this is just you learning more about yourself. And that's something where we recently did an episode of kind of taking what people might consider weaknesses about themselves and how we use them as strengths. And it's really about, if you do know yourself enough, then you can build your life around that of, like you said, of, oh, I know that in the past I would just not eat. I needed to put in this like ultimate accountability. And that's something I feel like a lot of people who are neurodivergent relate to, of like, I put in levels of ultimate accountability that make it so hard for me to back down from something, because I know I won't keep the promise just to myself all of the time. So if I can make it where, even if it's about myself, be able to put in another layer of accountability, then it just helps me so much. And even something like with the quiet shift of, I might have not followed through as well if I didn't just put it out on the internet of like, I'm doing this is how I'm showing up. And so then it's like, okay, while I might not have a coach at this exact moment to have that accountability, I have the accountability of, I'm having to show up to this many people and to do this. And that's even how I started with my fitness journey, was putting it all online, because I was like, I know myself well enough, if I'll be too far embarrassed to quit at this point because I put it out there, than to if I just did it on my own, because then no one would know. And so it's like, again, learning about yourself enough to then put in the things that remove as much resistance as possible for them to be like just part of your life as you go through it.
Exactly. And that's one thing where like, yes, I have a coach and like that's amazing to have that accountability. And that is something that like I will always value because, it helps hold me accountable. It helps me show up for myself. It takes the objectivity and like puts that in frame for me and everything. But also like I think about it of like, okay, if you're not going to show up for yourself on a daily basis, like how can you ask your clients to show up for themselves and like that kind of a thing there? And so that's something that I really, really, lean back on of like, I need to lead by example because that's something that's always really resonated heavily with me. And so it's like, if I can't show up to a client check-in and say like, do these things and I've done them too. So like, I know kind of the ways in which to go through that and how that's going to play out for you. And here are my recommendations based on experience. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of speaking about shit that I don't know about, so I got to act like it if I'm going to tell people to also act like it.
Yeah, definitely walk the walk is a big thing for me, of just even like when we talk about something like imposter syndrome, I feel like walking the walk just helps with that, of like, I know I'm still showing up and doing the thing. And so that's going to lead towards just continuing to do the thing and moving in the right direction there. So what is in your gym bag right now? Any must-haves that you would say other people should definitely have in their gym bag?
Grips, always. I need my grips for every single one of my lifts all the time. So my grips are key. The IPR kickback strap, the one that goes over your heel, absolutely key. If you have any sort of like glute max or glute med kickback in your training, please be using that strap and not the ones that go around your ankle. Those suck. So that's what I will say on those. Just for those movements in particular, they have a purpose, but not those movements. But those two are key. I also have the Prime rotate handles in my gym bag. And these are a little bit of a step up. You don't have to have these, especially if your gym has like neutral grip attachments. But I just like them a lot better. I got them when I was living in Wisconsin and training at a very, very small gym that didn't really have any sort of like variety of attachments. And so I bring those to the gym personally, and I think that they are the best thing ever. They fit my hands really well and they're wonderful. And I don't have to worry about the gym yelling at me for using my own chalk, which is also in my gym bag. So I do have chalk as well, just because for a lot of my heavier back and leg movements, it's something where the grips help, but not enough to the point where like if I'm having to hold like a 90-pound dumbbell, like that's a lot for my small little hands. That's not really working very well there, but those always. And then my knee sleeves as well are key.
Gotcha. And do you have any hot girl gym hacks?
Take your makeup off at the gym. Don't wait till you get home. And like my gym drive is like 7 minutes, but I know that if I don't take off my makeup after I'm done with the gym, and usually the sauna, at the gym, I will get home and I'll forget about it because I'll be like making food and taking my dog out and like doing all this sort of stuff. So take your makeup off at the gym. It'll help so much with like skin health, all that sort of stuff there on that front. And then, I mean, I just wear my hair up all the time to keep it clean. The other thing that does help with that is dry shampoo immediately after your hair is dry out of the shower. And it'll kind of like act as a pre-dry shampoo so that like when you sweat, it doesn't get as dirty, if that makes sense. So that's really, really helpful. And I don't know if this is like a hot girl gym hack, but it makes me feel like a badass and kind of a hot girl to have this happen. But usually I walk into the gym and I'm like full sweats, like cannot see anything at all. I change in the locker room. I put on my like little cute gym outfit and then I like walk out of the locker room with all my gear and stuff like that. And it just makes me feel cool. It's kind of like the Hannah Montana moment of like I walk in and all my thumb covered. No one else notices, but I feel like it's fun.
Yeah,
so
honestly, as you got to do stuff for you, and you got to also have that main character energy, which you do because it's your Hannah Montana moment. So last question here of what makes you proud to call yourself a gym girl?
The way that I just show up for myself consistently and how I have for years and years and years. And that's something where I think that a lot of people undervalue that when they do get into training or get into the gym and things of the sort, is like, oh, like you go and you lift weights, is it really that big of a deal? And it's like, that's not the big deal. The big deal is that I consistently have put in effort towards something that matters to me for years and years on end. And it shows within the results I've been able to achieve. And that's something that I am eternally going to be proud of. And just have such a passion for helping other people be proud of as well.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's something about showing how capable you truly are. Like, it's not just like, oh, you go to the gym. Like, there's so many other layers to it. And I love that you also made it about like what it does for you instead of what it means to other people altogether.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining the Gym Girl Chats. I'm thinking I should maybe rename it to Gym Girl Yaps. So that might be on the horizon. But I'm very glad that we did get to chat. Like I said, I will have everything linked below of the other episodes that Mia has been on, as well as her Instagram, her TikTok, our Goodreads links, and all that jazz. So you can follow along, because Mia and I have actually been buddy reading almost the whole year, and it has been so freaking fun. And I think that's even one of the reasons why I am having resistance to From Blood and Ash, because then I'm like,
I was just going to say,
then Mia's going to get ahead of me on all these books, and I'm going to feel like Kate, and I'm going to be behind everyone. So we'll figure it out along the ride. But thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
bye.
Bye.